Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the GFS, the GM, the ECMWF, the GFS and ECMWF Ensembles, and we'll finish up having a look at the UKMO Office Run, have a look at 5-day precipitation and temperature. Now at the moment we do have westerly winds coming in, we have a bit of a weather front pushing in with some heavier rain for some, but it is fizzling out as it spreads eastwards. The east is definitely going to be the more favoured area over the next few days, and this weather front is producing some heavier rain as I'm recording this, but it is fizzling away, as I said, as it moves eastwards, as we have high pressure block to our east, squeezing that low pressure and reducing its intensity, and of course its associated weather fronts. It does look like in the longer term we are going to be going very much high pressure dominated. Some real proper spring sunshine could be in store, and maybe even some spring warmth. We had a look at that in yesterday's video. We're still seeing the potential for seeing some southerly or southeasterly winds bringing up a milder air mass for a time that could give temperatures into the mid to high teens. We also do need to keep an eye on Saturday in a few days time, as we're still seeing this vigorous low that could bring some localized stronger winds, maybe 50, 60, 70 miles per hour, and we'll have a look at that in detail towards the end of the video. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So if we do now have a look at the latest GFS, you can see we are most of the British Isles is now in lower pressure, with us in the greens and blues. However, that's going to be squeezed away very slowly by high pressure over the coming days, or the coming sort of day or so, and that's reducing that intensity of the weather front. But it's this small low pressure system that develops just to the south of the sort of the main mother low over Iceland that spins up and could produce some stormy weather. Now, if we do zoom into the United Kingdom look and have a look at this in detail, you see it gets down to about 990 millibars, so not the deepest area of low pressure, but we do see some tight isobars, especially across Southern Ireland, southwest England, and southern Wales. And as we have a look with the UKMO Office Run, we are seeing 60, 70, maybe even isolated 80 mile per hour gusts. And if we did see that come off, wouldn't it be surprised to see yellow warnings put in force, maybe an amber warning, and there's the potential, I'd say low potential, of maybe being a named storm as well. Now, it does move through quickly, and we do go high pressure dominated after this. As you'll see, high pressure comes back over. We see a bit of a cut-off low that develops to the south, and we see high pressure really dominating. Now, the GFS does something really interesting here that I will say is an outlier. It is nothing that any of the other models are going for. Just an interesting pattern. It does start to pull in a bitterly cold easterly wind. We see the proper Scandinavian high getting going. 1,050 millibars. That's sort of the level we saw with the beast from the east high pressure system. But of course, we're in the middle of March, and we have seen this recently from the GFS and other models, and it hasn't come off. And as we see the ensemble members, it has very little, if no support at all. Still, though, high pressure dominated, and we do pull in easterly winds and stay pretty cold. And if we do have a look at the upper air temperatures, we do see very cold air mass spread through before we do just generally stay under a milder air mass and sort of in between weather systems. So a very bizarre run from the GFS at day 10 beyond. Wouldn't look at it in too much detail, but just interesting seeing the GFS still trying to pull off an easterly wind, even though it has failed at it over the last week or two. Initially, we thought it could happen, as we did have some other models showing it and some of the ensemble members going for it, but now it is really just on its own. So I'd completely disregard this GFS run from day 10 to day 14 with this easterly wind. So we do now have a look at the GM run, see how that does compare. Again, you can see that small low pressure system really spinning up much deeper potentially here than the GFS, getting down to 978 millibars towards the centre of this low across Southern Ireland. Could be named by Met Erin, in fact, if it's affecting Ireland mainly. But still stronger winds elsewhere, even further eastward, still seeing strong gusts. And if you have a look at the 10-metre wind again, nothing major further eastwards, because on the southern side of this low pressure system, very, very strong winds. And these are maintained winds as well, very, very strong. So we'll have to see how it does play out. Again, I do expect we could see some warnings put in force for this, but I think the Weather agencies are just waiting to make sure all models are on board with this intensity and positioning. Beyond that, as I said, we see that cut-off low, and then we see high pressure trying to dominate. GM a bit more reluctant initially, trying to push in weather fronts in from the west, but at day 10, we do see high pressure dominating once again over the top and to our east, pulling in a slack easterly flow. But this time of year, the easterly flow is not going to be majorly cold. And you can see we're actually really quite mild. Have a look at the temperature deviation. Some areas getting to around 6 to 8 degrees above average. Really quite mild and warm. Potentially even very warm. And you have a look at the United Kingdom look. Again, that's overnight under the higher pressure. Maybe an inversion, but in the day we could see temperatures getting into the mid-teens, maybe 13, 14, 15 degrees. Again, locally temperatures will be higher than is showing here. So yeah, interesting seeing that from the GM run. Could be turning things very spring-like with a lot of sunshine, maybe even some warmer weather. Again, depends on the exact orientation and upper air conditions as well with this. So GM, longer term, definitely going for this high pressure signal. Now, if we do have a look at how the ECMWF compares, again, low pressure trying to run in off the Atlantic. We see this small low pressure spin up again through southern parts of Ireland. Beyond that, see the cut-off low develop down towards Spain, and we see high pressure dominate. And it's this period where we were seeing the potential for southerly winds. We're still seeing it a little bit. You see a bit of a warmer push of air there into Europe, but not quite getting towards the UK on this ECMWF run. We see a bit of a colder air mass push in, and then high pressure dominates once again with a bit of a slack easterly flow. Very similar to the GEM run, and this looks like it's the most likely scenario with a big high pressure system over Europe, keeping things dry and sunny. And we could even see some warm sunshine with this, proper spring-like conditions. So it does look good if you're looking forward to something a bit sunnier and potentially a bit milder. Maybe warmer is a bit of a stretch to say for mid to high teens, but for some it may be a little bit warmer. At least it could be the warmest weather we've seen in a good few months now. So yeah, something perhaps to look forward to. Again, as I must maintain, it is at the day 10 time frame. We always do have to take a pinch of salt with the day 10 time frame. It is not always the most accurate, but this scenario is very plausible. We have seen this sort of pattern continually over the last week or two, with the models building up high pressure over Europe and towards Scandinavia. So I do think this has got a real chance of coming off. So we now have a look at the ensembles, which shows us what all sorts of scenarios there are. Now you can see around or slightly above average at the moment, and we see a bit of a drop in upper air temperatures as we see westerly winds coming in with a bit of colder air mass, but nothing too major with that. Beyond that, we do see a rise to significantly above average as we do see a bit of a southerly wind develop in around 6 days' time. Varied between the models or the ensemble, some only going around 2 or 4 degrees at 850 HPA, temperatures in the low teens, some perhaps 8 to 10 degrees at 850 HPA, which could give temperatures, as I said, mid to high teens. And you see the operational GFS run is one of those as well. Beyond that, though, it does look like it will decrease, again, the temperatures to around average. And you can see some, including the operational GFS run, going really cold for a period of time, bringing in proper easterly winds. But I wouldn't favour that massively. I would favour more of just generally average to maybe slightly above average temperatures, with the wind maybe in from the east, but not bitterly cold. You can see the precipitation, nothing too major. Definitely some spikes going around, showing there is low pressure in and around the UK, but nothing too major at this stage, as we still, as I said, generally have high pressure in control. If we do have a look at the sea level pressure, you can see in the longer term, still generally higher pressure, around 1,020 millibars, which is going to mean temperatures are around or slightly above average, maybe cold at night with an inversion, and we're going to be seeing generally dry conditions, which I think a lot of people, or at least most people, can agree is a good thing. If we do have a look at the ECMWF ensembles, have a look at the next couple of weeks. Now you can see generally very similar to the GFS. Above average at the moment, slightly below average over the next few days, and then we see a big rise into the middle of next week to around 4 to 6 degrees above average, where the average is around freezing this time of year. You see a bit of a dip from the ECMWF Operational Run, but majority are staying around or above average, looking very warm into longer term, and you can see again, looking generally very dry as well, with high pressure dominating. Didn't have a look at the GFS 2 meter temperatures, but we'll have a look at the ECMWF 2 meter temperatures. And if we do have a look, you can see maybe next week we could be seeing temperatures from a lot of the models getting up to around 14, 15, maybe 16 degrees in the day with the sunshine in London. And as I said, with these ensembles before, locally it can get a degree or two, maybe even 3 degrees higher than that. So I wouldn't be surprised if next week we're talking about perhaps seeing temperatures in excess of 15, 16 or even 17 degrees. Again, we'd have to see the warmer ensemble members come off, but I don't think that is entirely out of the question at this stage. I think that is very, very plausible indeed. So warm spring sunshine is very possible next week. So fingers crossed we do see that, as I know a lot of people will be looking forward to it. So we do finish the video by having a look at the UKMO Operational Run, have a look at precipitation and temperature. Now you can see we do have that weather front pushing in at the moment. It does spread slowly eastwards, but it is fizzling away, as I said, as it moves through. A bit of snow maybe over the Scottish Highlands, but again, that's nothing too unusual. Beyond that, we just stay cloudy through Thursday as that weather front is decayed away. A bit of drizzle or lighter rain in the south, maybe, as that spreads northwards ahead of an approaching low. And for about 24 to 48 hours, we're under low pressure dominance. And that's when we see that little spin-up low develop on Saturday. You can see it coming in from the southwest, giving heavy bands of rain around its centre, a lot of showery rain as well. On and off rain, some sunshine, but there will be some heavier blustery showers, and we continue to see some rain, especially further westwards as well, even into Monday. Now, if we do have a look at the max temperatures, you see earlier this morning, nothing too majorly cold, generally around 4 to 8 degrees. This afternoon temperatures, well, nothing too crazy, but temperatures getting up to around 11, 12, maybe 13 degrees, so fairly pleasant in the sunshine, but a bit of cloud and a bit of a breeze. It will feel still chilly, especially further westwards as we're under that weather front cloud and a little bit of a colder air mass. Over the course of Wednesday night, we could see a frost develop further westwards in Ireland and across Scotland as well, under clearer skies, but further eastwards we are under more cloud as that weather front does break down and temperatures hold well above freezing. Through Thursday afternoon, we see temperatures rise again to 13, 14, maybe even higher than that, and further westwards still pretty chilly as well. Through Thursday night, temperatures don't drop too far down, nowhere really looking around freezing or so, and by Friday afternoon, where temperatures are back to around 10 to 12 degrees, and nothing too cold indeed. Saturday morning, we could be a bit of a frost across southern Ireland, but nothing too crazy, and then the afternoon temperatures still around average, 11, 12 degrees, nothing too crazy. And by Sunday, still 9, 10, 11 degrees, but as I said, it's looking towards sort of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday time is where the potential for something a little bit warmer could come. And it will especially be further southwards and eastwards, closer to the high pressure centre and closer to that warmer air coming up from the south. But it is one to watch for next week. So nothing majorly is happening with the weather over the next couple of weeks. Looks generally dry. Spring sunshine is definitely looking at plenty in sort of the mid-range, if the models are correct, of course. There could be some hazards from a bit of the low pressure system on Saturday, and we could see some warmer weather perhaps for next week. But as I said, nothing too major. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.